here.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite flying saucer's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Toyworld Cosmos, and I'm really excited to be looking at this. This is on loan to me, and I might buy it. I haven't decided yet, and I'm still working through it because there is one thing that's kind of a deal breaker about it, but a lot of it is really good. This is on loan to me from Titan One Toys, so shout out to them. They'd have it's a good dude over there, and he sends little candies in the box. And he sends me stuff, and then to review, doesn't ask for a shout out, and if I buy it, he'll sell it to me. If I don't, he'll take it back. Like, I don't know, stand-up guy, part of the community. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about this guy. Accessory-wise, he doesn't come with really any real accessories for the figure. He does come with one of those Toy Biz, I'm out of it, Toyworld display stages, which are really nice and really big and interchangeable and such, and we've already looked at them in the past, so... with the the Primorion, the Masterpiece or larger than Masterpiece scaled Optimus. So he comes with one of those, it seems. But outside of that, I don't see any other accessories. So we can really just jump right into the figure. There is one thing I want to show you before we go on, and that is that the head bit does spin. It's really tight. To reveal a different style of eyes. And I think I like this second style maybe a bit more. It has a little bit more character to it. It's just the angles of the eyes. Not a big deal. It's nice that they included it. The feature to do it is kind of a pain, but it is there. So let's get down to it. Cosmos, well, we'll talk about it later. It looks like to me, and it no, I think it's just an optical illusion, but I thought there was a darker shade of red inside this forehead piece, but that is sculpted, as is the top bit, and then the face has the gold paint applied to it, and then the blue eyes are painted on. Articulation-wise, it's on a ball peg. You get down to there, you get up to there, and then you get the swivel. So not the greatest range of motion, but for a Cosmos figure, I think it's more than acceptable and probably more than you would expect. And that has to do mainly with the cut of the chin and jaw line. So all in all, smart moves. The torso of the figure, we have this gold, blue, and red, and silver, and black paint. So a lot of paint apps, but just in this area. Ultimately okay, but you know what I would have wanted? Finish on that green Mac. We have a waist swivel, no problems there. And then we have the shoulders, which are on ball pegs. Now, the ball joint is here, and the peg is in the torso, so you get a hinge. This piece here is part of the transformation, so we'll get there. But you get a hinge up and down that you really don't need. And then you get the ball peg, which is tolerance well. A little tight, but better tight than loose, especially when dealing with ball joints. So you get the arm all the way out to there. It has a cut in the joint, so you can actually get it a little bit higher. And then you get the swivel all the way around, and you get a bit of a butterfly joint across. So all that works really, really well. The shoulder also has a swivel here, but you don't really need it. It has no bicep swivel. That's a bummer, but you should be able to get pretty much everything you want from the shoulder, not unlike an SH Figuarts figure. So I think ultimately that'll work, but it would have been nice to have it there. I don't see why it wouldn't be there. Single jointed elbow that gets you 90 degrees, so that works fine. The wrist swivel, and there's a 5mm port for the hand. So no finger articulation. You do get this little bit here. It does tab in, but you do wish it would stay a little bit more firmly secure. And then these swivel here, so you can have it up or down depending on how your sensibilities are. Let's talk about the gold. So the gold is kind of that swirly plastic and kind of not. It kind of is like a metallic gold. I think we've seen this sort of stuff on a Marvel Legend before. It does look nicer than just a flat plastic, but it doesn't look as nice as paint. However, I think if this would have had the green finish on it and this would have been this metallic gold, I wouldn't have had an issue with it. The issue with the gold for me is that it's not yellow. And I can tell you that is slightly off-putting for me. That's definitely a subjective thing, but that's the real thing that's bothering me about this guy is had it been yellow, I think I would have bought this no questions asked. Because it's gold, it does make me question whether or not this will be the one of the last Cosmos multiple editions of Cosmos plural is what I'm looking for, that I buy. I'm not sure. So we have these hip skirts. They're on hinges. They rotate up into the side, which expose a universal joint that's non-ratcheted but it's frictioned really well. No problems in terms of holding the position on both sides. This side is actually a bit too tight. You probably want to loosen that joint up a taste. And then forward to there. So we got, I'm not even gonna, that one's really tight, so I'm not gonna force that one. But you can get the full Van Damme and the full Monty, no problems. Thigh swivel's built into the Universal. It's not the fullest range, but you know my feelings on this. It's more than enough. Knee is on a single hinge. Well, yeah, it's on a single hinge. It gets you just about 90 degrees. I think for a blocky bloke like this fella, I think it's fine. And then we get to the part that everybody's talking about, which are the feet. Now, we just have this metallic gold plastic for the legs, so just take that for what it's worth. The feet. All right, so ankle tilt down. This piece, this flap on the back covers down, so it's not an issue from the back. Nothing up. Insane rocker. Now, you do have this gap here. I know that's unsightly. I can tell you that when I saw pictures, I thought it was unsightly. However, it's just a small shape that's gappy on this side. Is it there? Absolutely. But I can tell you that in hand, it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me anywhere near as much, for instance, as the gold bothering me. I really wish it was the yellow. But it's definitely there. If that's a deal breaker for you, if that's something that you just can't ignore, you might not want to mess with this fella. However, most of the times on the shelf, the way he's posed or standing, you know, more often than not, it's either going to be a heroic pose or a dynamic pose, and you're not going to have him, you know, with his legs out like that, you know, just, you know, both of them. It's my personal opinion, I don't think it'll bother you. And I only base that on the fact that it doesn't really bother me. There are things that bother me about the way this guy looks, the lack of finish and the gold plastic, but the gappiness in there, that hollowness in there, it's just not one of them. That's just the God's honest truth. And then cleans up pretty well on the back, and that is this fella. Size comparison wise, there he is with Masterpiece Bumblebee, BadCube's Grump, and Masterpiece Lambor. And I think the size works well as well. I know that the size of Toy World's masterpieces have been concerning to some. I don't think that this is bothersome at all. And there he is with the G1 because, well, reasons. You know, like, he's a cool character. Like, he's not a cool character. He's not, but he's a unique looking character, and I've always had a soft spot for Cosmos, even though most of the episodes centered around him are relatively dull. I think it's Kilby. Shout out to Kilby. I think he's a big Cosmos fan. I think that what's interesting about him is the way that he breaks up your shelf. Like all the G1 stuff is mostly very rectangular and squarish, and when you have this big barrel guy standing on your shelf, it does break it up a taste. Like, all right, let's transform them. Open these flaps here. I think we're going to do this all in one take. You know, we haven't done that in a while. You know, some of these transformations are so involved. This was kind of a breath of fresh air. Open these flaps here, tuck the hands in, close them back up, and you bring the guns to the inside. Same on the other side after you close it back up. Maybe I will be cutting it in. And then collapse the arms. Is that in focus? And then you want to just get the arms out of the way. It's hard to stay oriented in terms of all the hinges there. You can bring this down, bring these flaps out. You can take this piece off before you all start crying, parts forming. There is a point to this. We'll get back to it. Push the whole assembly here back, and then you got to get these pieces out, which are a bit of a challenge, but not undoable. Maybe someone with nimbly fingers would have an easier job than I. But as it stands, my hands are just not built for that sort of work. All right. You need to rotate this guy. It doesn't say this in the instructions. You need to rotate this guy so that you can move this hinge. Otherwise, it bangs up against the side of the figure, which you would normally think is obnoxious. But because it is a hinge, it prevents it from doing it when you have it in robot mode and you're kind of, you know, posing it or whatever. So I think it's ultimately worth the cost of admission in that regard. So flip these down and get the arms up and out of the way. And then you want to twist it back and do the same on the other side. That came off the ball joint. That's not a big deal. And it's my fault. So, and then you just want to have them down basically to there so that the hinge is on the other side of the centerpiece, the fulcrum, if you will. All right, now we've taken that off. So we're going to open these up here and these up here. And we're going to push this together and interlock this. Open these flaps. I think you just need the front ones rather. We'll square this up, and then he's going to basically sit down, fold these flat so that it makes sense for the flying saucer. Let's keep this, and then you're going to collapse them. We'll bring that down as well. All right, there it is. And then that'll all sit in there fairly nicely. Make sure that these are interlocked. Yeah. And then bring this piece down in the back. Make sure that the fold out green pieces go above the hip skirts there. And then tab it into the bottom. Bring these down and tab. What did I do wrong here? Did I do something wrong? I'm not sure. I don't think so. Bring these down. I think that's right. I don't know why, for some reason, I feel like I'm backward. And then just push the head down. And clean it up. So I'll clean it up and we'll take a look at it. But that's basically it. This plugs in down at the bottom and those two ports there. I don't know why yeah, this is right. I don't know why I was feeling like the gun should be in the front, but they're like they're like thrusters. So yeah, let me clean it up, but that's how you transform it. So there it is, and apparently I didn't do the best job of tightening that part up, but I think you get the point. So let's talk about it. I think it translates well. It is a little like top heavy, I guess tall, but it doesn't bother me. But it's definitely not cartoon accurate in that sense. The top wasn't this big. This plug-in piece on the stand, there's a support piece that you can put here, and then it can make it look like he's flying. So that's cool. I like stuff like that. I think that all flying vehicles, at a premium price point, I don't know why I can't get this quite right, but should have some sort of display in that regard, some display option. But the underside looks good. It has these little details here. These actually slide out for the front cannons. And yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. Like I think it's a decent job overall. Size comparison wise, there he is next to Tiger Tracks, and because reasons, next to G1 Cosmos. So overall, I think they did a great job, and I like it. It's not accurate, but in that sense, but I think it's in the spirit of. And I don't know. I think you know what I think this spaceship is? I think this spaceship is out of this world. What's up, fellas? Have a seat. All right. Is it serious?
Yeah. Look, we need to talk.
Okay. What's going on?
It's too much. It's gotten out of hand, and we want you to know that we love you, and we're not judging you, but we need to do this.
What do you mean?
Robert D had to have his cat's eye removed, and you told him to keep an eye on it.
So we're in my basement. I got my Indiana Jones whip. I got the hat. I got the Grail Bible. And you're like, oh, look at the Ford Focus.
The old man jokes has got to stop.
They're childish. They're distracting. And frankly, they're inappropriate and disgusting for a man your age.
Oh. All right. Final thoughts wise in regards to the negatives, there is this gap here. And that may bother you. I have to be honest, it doesn't bother me. The alt mode, it is disproportionate to the G1, and there is a lack of paint. There's a lack of paint on this green, which should have been done, and this gold, in my opinion, should have been yellow. And those are the issues that I have with this fella. I think the articulation on it is good. I think that the sculpt and the overall presence of the figure is on the money. I think that did I say articulation already? But I don't know. It's a lot of fun. It's cool. He's cool looking. It really works on most levels. It's just that, like, I just don't know. I'll be honest. Like, I know it seems ridiculous, but like, I just don't know if I can get over that gold. I know why they might choose gold, but like, it's just, I don't know. There's something that seems off about that color choice to me. That and the lack of finish. I wish this tabbed in as well. Like, I wish this piece flipped down and tabbed in. That makes me wish that there were just a couple things that, like, a couple different changes that were made that really would have made this thing go from, like, you know, like a solid 7 to a 10. But it's still not bad. There is like a, I don't know if you can see it. It's right. Can you feel it? Like, can you hear that? Like, that sounds different than that. There's a piece of die cast bar that goes through there that does give this guy some weight too. So yeah, I don't hate this thing at all. I like it a good bit. I'm not sure if it's going to be my Cosmos. I just haven't decided. But I can tell you that if you're okay with the color choices here and the lack of paint and the ankle bits, and I can tell you the ankle bits I'm okay with, is the other two that I'm struggling with, then I can definitely recommend this guy wholeheartedly. It's just, I'm just not sure if I can handle it. But if you can handle it, there's nothing really inherently wrong with this guy on a level that would make me say don't get him. Like, he is a lot of fun. The sculpt is good. The presence is good. So yeah, I think it's a good job, Toy World. Either way, a couple little changes I would have made. Maybe you should hire me as a consultant, give you my contact info, and I think we could make a lot of these things that are really close to being great with just a couple different changes in the way that they're approached. Great, because I think the Toy World is really close. It's just they just make a couple strange decisions that prevent folks from being more confident in a purchase. So yeah, hope that helps either way. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.